Hello traders, and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 28. It's Iliya here, and as always we're gonna have a look at how the market developed this week and what do we expect for the next one. So I stayed away from this week just because it was NFP, and I usually don't like Decembers because price tends to be quite manipulative. It is either chopping or it is either moving impulsively, and we saw some massive impulse moves this week. As you can see here, the dollar just plummeted this week. So let's get straight into the analysis. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe first, hit that notification bell, and if you already did, let's go. As always, starting from the DXY, we had NFP week this week, but we saw when the market opened here, we just had this massive price plummeting to the downside. So this was I think news related because we didn't have too much data. We had some CPI, I believe, but with all that's happening with the US-China trade wars and the prices of oil, this is kind of affecting the DXY. But looking at technical perspective, again, we did last week, we had this double top. First we had a double bottom, but price failed to make a higher high. Then we had a double top right here on the daily. Price pushed nicely down as expected, broke the neckline, so currently I am bearish on the dollar. And just looking on the daily, we might expect a daily pullback, which already started when NFP stats went out. So looking at the 4-hourly, we saw this massive push to the downside and price just started to climb down a little bit. It got super exhausted here, and then we had this bullish push. So looking for areas for confluence, well, I would want to see price pull back around this area here, at least to the 50%, because on the 50% we have this little structural point of resistance, and possibly on the 61.8 it will be perfect because that is actually, yeah, 98 is a little bit below, but 98 is very strong level. As you can see on the left, we have support. Here we had some interaction, the gap appeared here, retest, another test here. And I think 98 could be some level of confluence, but I think we still have some room to the upside on the DXY, but overall I am bearish. Euro USD being totally negatively correlated to the DXY, we had this bullish push here, meaning strong euro and weak dollar. So looking at the technical perspective, we saw this double bottom here after the double top, break of the neckline, perfect retest, perfect short opportunity here, but price just did not go down to create that lower low. And here we have this break and a new high, indicating bullish pressure and shift of structure. So what I can see here, what I can do is from the daily, I can draw this fib and potentially expect this price to come to tap the highest point here. So we have 1.12 exactly aligning with the 62% extension, and I think price has some rooms to pull back to the downside. Looking at the structure on the 4-hourly, so I was looking for a long trade. After I saw this push, I wanted to see a bigger pullback on the EU, but you can see it started creating this higher low formation. Exactly after it pushed, it started finding support here, then it pushed to the upside and immediately pushed to the downside. So this is what is happening currently a lot of manipulation, and then price just supported again, tried to push up, went back into the major area, showed a lot of signs of exhaustion and just rolled down. This was on Friday NFP. So currently we have two scenarios, guys, on this one. Either I would wait for a pullback lower high formation, just because this is a lot of bearish pressure and we can have a pullback lower high in order for price to go down, but I will maximum target the 61.8 here. So we can even catch the fib. Let me experiment a little bit like this. Actually, this is, if we draw the fib like this, price action has already met the 61.8, because this could be a little Fibonacci here. But if we draw it like this from swing low to swing high, we still have some space, and I would really love to see this area getting retested, because this is an area of interest here. You see resistance, a lot of resistance, then it broke and it hasn't been retested. So if price action gives me a pullback here, possibly it will pull back lower high. If I'm given the confluence here, I will look for shorts to write this down to the 61.8%, and then I will look to trade it to the upside for that big double top. So if we just have a look at the DXY, On the DXY, we expect price to go down if we had a little retest up. So we should expect EU to go up, right? Negative correlation. So let's see what happens. We have two scenarios here: pullback, lower high, short, or just price action plummeting to the 61.8 and starting to look for longs. EJ daily time frame. Let's have a look at this market. So we had this push to the downside here. Price attempted to create that lower high, did not push down to create a lower low, created a higher low instead, and pushed back up to create a higher high. So I was looking for buys on Euro JPY, just looking at the daily time frame, but it was super choppy. We can see here at this daily level, and if you drop down to the 4 hourly, so price action was pushing up, and I saw that this trend line was violated very strongly, and price came back here to test this level. I attempted to go short in here, but I failed, and then we had this manipulation to the upside, and then price action started consolidating. And on Friday, as we had a bearish euro, we plummeted to the downside as well. So how am I looking at this market right now? It looks more bearish than bullish, but still, if I just mark my last swing here from the daily, I can even try to draw Fibonacci. It's actually breaking right now here. The momentum is quite a lot to the downside, so I don't know if I'm interested for longs on this one, just because we created this double top formation here. We had the break of the trend line. So if EU pulls back as well, this may give us some sort of a pullback. Then we might have a lower high, and I will be targeting maximum the daily higher low, because it may come down to make that double bottom and then start reversing to the upside. Because overall on the daily time frame, price is up. This is the high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Currently did not make a new higher high, started to consolidate a little bit here, nice push to the downside. So I would really love to see how this market develops on Monday possibly, but what I will be looking for like immediately on market open is a pullback, lower high, and then a short opportunity. Aussie USD, not too nice price action in this pair. So we had this very nice daily bullish move, bearish move to the downside. If we plot the Fibonacci, we see that price went to the 61.8% to tap it just with a small wick, dropping down to the 4 hourly time frame. So I was expecting the break of this descending structure. It was a massive break to the upside, just because we had very strong Aussie, and NZD was super strong as well. And then price started to consolidate. So I tried to zoom in on this market to see what is happening. I saw this lower high formation, lower low formation. I thought that this is going down. So I waited for a little pullback, but the pullback came too high. Then we had another one. Price then made another lower high. And so just looking clearly at this structure, it is in a triangular formation, compressing. So we really don't know what's going to happen. So if we are sticking to the trend, to the impulsive moves, this is our fib. Price has just tapped the 38.2. So we still have some space either to the 50%, the 61.8, we have a 0.68, which may be a nice retest level. Looking for the daily for more confluences where we have bearish trend. This could be a reversal to the downside as well. And that is why I don't like confusing daily and 4 hourly. That's why I trade only 4 hourly, because currently price is sitting here at the 61.8%, and we would like to see a lower low on the daily. However, on the 4 hourly, we had this massive impulsive move to the upside, price consolidating, and we expect price to pull back to continue to the upside. So sticking to the daily time frame, we think that this is going down. So just taking the structure like this is our major area. If we have a break of this one, a retest back, lower high formation, then I will be looking to go short, but I will, just in case, draw my Fibonacci level and secure some profits as the 61.8, because this may be a level of interest and price may go to the upside. We never know what's gonna happen. So Aussie USD, not very clear price action. Let's see how the market opens. Aussie JPY was a complete mess this week. So what I can see here is 74,500 is the level that price is holding. It did not attempt to tap the 75. So just looking at the daily, we had this massive impulsive move to the downside, and very similar to AU, we had the pullback and a perfect 61.8%. So overall bearish, right? Here we had this bullish price action that kind of got broken, but price again found support, pushed to the upside. I was expecting some sort of a head and shoulders around here, but price went a little bit too deep. Let's delete everything. And then it started compressing as well. So just looking at structure, nothing else, I see that price is creating lower highs while currently creating higher lows as well. So this is not good. Price is compressing. And if we take just the major area, so this will be a major level, but I cannot draw it like this. I will just take the small wick and 74 key level as well. We have to have it. I want to see how price reacts below this level. So if price pulls back around here to create that double top rejection, I may look for short because then I will have a range to the downside to take profit here. Or let's see how the market continues to the downside to break this area and retest, very similar to AU. So we really need to see how the Aussie dollar is going to open for the next week and then try to adjust to our bias. But currently, not very clear price action. 5 bullish days for NZD USD. It hasn't stopped just for a minute. We see just on market open, massive explosion to the upside, and it just continued climbing up for the remaining of the week. We had some minor pullbacks, but I always wanted to see that big pullback, but it just continued pushing to the upside. So just looking at this structure, I personally wouldn't go long. I would wait for that little reversal or pullback on the daily time frame. So if this is our push to the upside, this is our swing low currently, and I will be waiting for price to find resistance around this area, and then I will be looking for that pullback to the downside. But I will be interested to take a counter trend as well. So if price action breaks this, shows me that bears are entering the market, and then I have either a double top or a lower high formation, then I will be willing to short the market down around 61.8%. Looking on the left, we have some confluence here with this area, which is almost to the 61.8%. So I will be taking profits probably around here and then expecting the market to continue with the overall trend. But still, we hadn't had any pullbacks on NZD USD, so I would really love to see one. NZD JPY, again, 5, I would say not too bullish as NZD USD is, but we just had this upwards movement on this as well. We can see prices creating clear higher lows and higher highs here. So I'm really not interested to take longs anymore on this one because I think we're having a very overextended market here. You can see it's super sharp, and I really think this is due to some sort of a pullback as well. So just marking the structures, I can see that this is my last area of interest. That price pulled back, created that higher low, and then pushed for a higher high. So as long as price is staying above this area though, I will be taking longs. So if price action pulls back here, there could be a long opportunity, but I would really love to see price break this trend line and then come back for some sort of retest of the trend line of the structure, or for, just for some sort of a lower high. There are a lot of scenarios, but I really want to see the reversal on this level of this pair. Have a look at the level. We still have some space to tap the 72. It's around 70 pips, but I think that this pair is really due to a daily pullback, so I would really love to see this pull back a little bit. And just looking at the daily price action, we see a lot of wicks. So we had tried to push to the downside here, but price failed, continued pushing up, tried to push up, failed a little bit, and then just tried to push up, failed. It's climbing, but I really think that this is due to a pullback. So let's see how the market opens next week. USD JPY daily time frame. So after price created this higher high on this uptrend, it pulled back perfectly. We had 2 days here on market open, price just plummeted. Then we had another day of bearish action. Then we found some support, tried to push to the upside, created this minor lower high formation, and attempted to push to the downside. So I can see where price action is currently finding support from this daily higher low. So if we drop it down to the 4-hour, let's try to kind of make things clearer. So let me see. So this could be like the major low here, the major demand area, and we can see prices finding support around this area here. We saw it from the daily. So price action pushed down, gave us just a little pullback here. I wanted to go short on UJ, but this was just too brief for me. I wanted to see more rejections, more candles. It continued to push down, and then we had this perfect pullback here. It was an exact VIP, as you can see, 61.8%, and we had a little manipulation. This really happens quite a lot. And then we had this little push to the downside, And then again, this is on Friday, we had this bullish push, but the bears immediately took the market and tried to push the market down. So just looking at the structure right now, I can see that this is the last kind of area here of interaction. So as long as price stays below here, I will be looking for sales, but price is approaching some massive areas in this market. So the most recent one is here at around 108,500. So that's the area that price is currently looking like it's creating this double bottom, all right? So we might have this scenario here, double bottom, break and retest for continuation. We might have a little pullback, something like this, to create double top of this structure here and to continue down. So it's really important to see how the market opens and how it develops. I usually don't take trades from my weekly analysis. I just try to have a look at how the market is going and what am I expecting for the next week. But on market open, you might have something totally different from what you expected. So it's really important to know the levels, to know your expectations, and to always go with the flow of the market. So let's see what USD JPY will do for the next week. It will be either a pullback of this zone, a break of this zone, and a retest back like this for shorts, or double bottom break and retest for longs. USD Swiss franc daily time frame. So we had 2 days again here of massive bearish action, and then price started finding support here and consolidating for 2 days. So we can see that there is a massive area around here. So this is the last kind of a higher low that price is finding support, or we can take even this whole zone of interaction here. So looking at the daily time frame, I think this was a massive bearish pressure here. So I think I'm more sell bias than buy bias, just because this pullback was too hard. I would have expected a pullback around here, but price just continued pushing down, closing below the 78.6 and even making a low. So it basically broke this one and created a low. So dropping down to the 4-hour time frame, now we see this massive push. I was waiting for a short on this one, but as UJ, it gave just a small pullback and continued flushing to the downside. From the previous weekly analysis, I expected a break of this structure and come back for head and shoulders, but price just continued plummeting to the downside. So on this market, I would like to see price pull back a little bit more in and around this zone. It actually tapped almost the 38.2. If I fix my fips a little bit, it might align. No, it's not. So almost the 38.2. So I would like to see price pull back a little bit more, at least to the 50%. So looking on the left for other confluences, not really anything, because I'm always looking for structure. This will be a level I can take, which is around in the middle, which is 99,500. So this could be like in the middle of this zone. It could be an area of interest to me. And if you want to, as day trader, to trade the pullback to the upside, we might have a little pullback here on market open, something like this, and then the price will continue pushing to the upside, because we can see the last day here we had 2 4-hour candles of rejection. So a lot of selling pressure is depleting, and in order for it to continue, it has to pull back to gather more liquidity and then to continue pushing up. So overall, short bias I would say on USD Swiss franc, but I would like to see a bigger pullback. The GBP has been super strong this week. As you can see, just from market open, this continued pushing to the upside without any pullbacks at all. So I will just take the daily level in here and expect that pullback. And if I draw a Fibonacci, so the wave started from here. Let's see. It's a perfect, actually 50% of this pullback, which is of this push, which is perfect. So looking at the 4-hourly, you can see that price opened around here. It started pushing up, gave us that super little pullback, and then massively exploding to the upside. So overall, this is my setup for GU. We have 1.30 serving us as another confluence for this trade. So let's see if this continues to the downside to create a lower low. Then we can watch for a lower high. Being aware of the daily structure, we can target to the downside here. The 50%, I will be targeting the top of this area just to be a little bit more conservative, because I can see this structural level that may act as support. So if this pushes down a little bit, pulls back for a lower high, I will short this market, but overall I am bullish on this, just because on the daily we had a massive explosion to the upside. Oops, that's weekly. A massive explosion to the upside without having any pullbacks at all. So a pullback would do perfect. And then we can see the 62 aligns perfectly with the top here of this massive supply area. And the 27 again is around this area. So let's see if GU gives us the pullback. Let's have a look immediately at the other GBP pairs. GA is absolutely the same. So on this occasion here, we had a lot of consolidation here. Price pulled back, 1, 2, 3 formation, absolute perfection, and it continued to push to the upside. So having a look at the 4 hourly on this one, I will take this structure that already kind of got retested, but it's not too, like, I can see price is failing right now. So this means selling pressure. So price is not ready. And if we draw the fib, swing lows to swing high, we can see that there is still some space to the downside, and this zone is the 38.2, which hasn't been tapped. So I think that this as well has some downside potential this week, but I don't think I will be taking shorts on this one just because this is too immediate. But let's see how the market opens. We might have a little pullback here to short down to the 61.8. We have 1.9500, which is a major area. So let's see how this one develops. GJ, quickly having a look at the daily time frame, absolutely the same. We had this consolidation for a long time. Then we had this break of the consolidation and the retest, clearly seen on the 4 hourly time frame. A break here, tried to retest, push double top here. Price created another little consolidation, but then we saw that it failed to continue to the downside. And then we had this massive explosion to the upside. So if you're staying on the 4 hourly, we have this fib level here. 61.8 is perfectly aligning with this structure. I will wait for price to come back here to give me the signals, and I will look to long this pair. And during that time, I may look for pullbacks here to short the market down to capitalize on the pullback as well. And lastly, Euro GBP. We can see massive explosion to the downside. Price started the week with a bullish push. So I was a little confused because we had this gap to the upside. Price filled. I thought that this is going to continue up, but we can see this was the last lower high. Price action created actually another lower high. Pushed to the downside, gave us this very little here kind of rejection zone. And then it just continued pushing massively to the downside without any pullbacks. We had a quick one here, but price just left one candle and plummeted to the downside. So what am I looking at this pair? Again, pullback. If I take the daily fib, which will look something like this, price action hasn't yet found some support, so we cannot draw it currently. But I will wait for this to start forming some more structure because it's so bearish. I can just wait for price to pull back around this area, reject, and I can short it. Because during such bearish momentum, we would either expect pullbacks like this that are very brief, or we might expect some consolidation and then the pullback, or even accumulation phase and a reversal. So currently this is so low that yeah, I don't know if I should sell, and but I won't buy because I'm not a reversal trader. I don't know when price will find support. We see it's entering into some areas here of support on the weekly time frame. Actually 84 is about to be tapped. We are 14 pips away from it, so let's see what happens. Let's see if we're having a reversal, but currently I am short on Euro GBP. Looking at gold daily time frame, just looking at the last price action, I think that this is kind of consolidating because we saw that price failed to make a lower low. So we expected bullish bias, but again, price fails to make a higher high as well. So we are consolidating. Price found resistance here at this area. We had 3 days here of rejection, getting us enough confirmations that price was failing to break this level. We had a little consolidation box here on the 4 hourly time frame, and then this is probably NFP with this big wicked candle, and then price continued to push to the downside. So how am I looking at gold? Well, from the 4 hourly time frame daily day trade perspective, I will look for price to pull back a little bit for a lower high to short, but knowing that there is a daily level down here. Let's see, yeah, that's a big zone here if we try to take as much as wicks as possible, but this looks good. So actually this is 1450. So I will make sure to take my profits before price gets in here, because we might expect some bullish reversal. So we expect on the dollar to continue to the downside, so this should be up. So let's see how price pulls back and then gives us a short opportunity, or price can just continue pushing out to the upside, or price can go back here into the demand area, form a little bit of consolidation, a little bit of accumulation like we had here, and then explode to the upside. But just looking right now, clear charts, I will be looking for a pullback for a short opportunity. A new pair that I will be introducing in the weekly analysis, it's Cad Yen, because I saw that this is a very nicely moving pair. You see that the recent price action is pretty clear, lows, lower highs, lower lows, nicely pulling up, breaking the structure, creating higher lows and indicating a reversal. So what we have on this market right now is a massive bullish push on the 4 hourly. So here we had, what is interesting, we had this Fibonacci play out here that rejected the 78.6, pushed all the way up here to create, it's kind of a double top, but it kind of broke it. So what I'm looking right now on this pair is this Fib, just to see if price is going to react around this area for longs. However, I see a lot of bearish pressure, so I can wait for the pullback as well in the opposite direction and try to take profits here. So that's how we are staying in flow with the market. So whatever is the momentum, we are there, and this is how my strategy is based. It's based on momentum and what price is doing now, not in the past. So currently price is pushing down. It first pushed up and now we're having some massive bearish pressure. After a lot of bearish pressure, we should always wait for the pullback. And so if you can identify from where the pullback may start, you might be able to capitalize on this one, take your profits up here and immediately reverse your position to the downside. So let's see. I will start keeping an eye on this one. Let me know if you trade Cad Yen. What are your do you like it? Do you trade it? Let me know. And yeah. Wrapping up the video with just a quick look at the indices, US30. So we had this bearish push to the downside, price consolidated a little bit, and here the last few days, I believe, yeah, 4th of December, the last 2 days price started trading bullish price action. I was looking for shorts around this area, but this was a nice short opportunity if I was given the pullback, but price just continued pushing to the upside. So structure wise, I will wait for a pullback and a continuation to the upside, just following, as I said already, the momentum. And NAS100 even pushed very strongly to the upside. We saw that perfectly here. It was a very nice short opportunity that I did not take, but then I saw that price failed to continue to the downside with this rejection and reverse to the upside. So what am I waiting on this pair as well? Possibly a Fibonacci level, which is perfectly confluenced with the pocket here between 50 and 61.8. So let's see if this pulls back, and we will have long opportunities on both indices. So I really hope you enjoyed the analysis and I got you prepared for the next week. If you like it, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, share this channel with your fellow traders in order to spread the knowledge and the analysis. Let me know what are your thoughts. Do you want me to include any other pairs or any videos you want me to talk about? And yeah, thank you guys for staying up until now. I really appreciate it, and see you on my next video.